Hi, my name is Kevin Smith and I'm an Agilent Applications Engineer. This is the fourth part in my Agilent Logic Analyzer Basics video. In this video, I'll show you how to add a scope to the Logic Analyzer. This is going to work with any Agilent scope that supports LAN. All we need to do is go to the Setup menu, Add External Scope. This just tells us basically about it. I've already got my scope IP address in here. The one gotcha is that they need to be on the same subnet mask. We can use a peer-to-peer connection or go through the regular LAN. I can have it the scope trigger the logic analyzer, or as we'll do, have the logic analyzer trigger the scope. There are some calibration that we can do. Default calibration, reuse a previous cal with the E5850 time correlation fixture. Really, this isn't needed. The default cal is actually very good to about a few hundred femtoseconds. So we'll just use the default cal. Shows us how to connect the triggers. Since we're only going one way, we really only need to go logic analyzer trigger out to scope trigger in. If we wanted to synchronize the 10 megahertz reference clocks, we could do that. Requires a reboot. If you're going to do that, you should use the scope's 10 megahertz output into the logic analyzer's 10 megahertz in, as it's going to be more accurate. And finish. Done. And it takes us to that window. Really, we want to look at this in the same view as the logic data. Add connection to waveform, and if we click here, channel setup, we can import all 4 analog channels. And if I were using an MSO, we would have the option to import the digital channels of the scope as well, and we can tell it how much scope acquisition memory we'd like to import. So if we simply do a run, acquires the data, imports the scope waveform, and now we see our scope signal, which happens to be a clock signal, and this is correlated with the logic chart waveform. And we see that if it's correlated, and perhaps these two little glitches are related. That's for you to determine. It's a nice short video on hooking up your scope to a logic analyzer. This concludes the Logic Analyzer Basics series of videos. Thank you for your attention.